You know, if you take everything I've accomplished in my entire life and condense it down into one day, it looks decent.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Decent Show. I am your co-host here, Ryan Money, joined by Reagan Horton. Singing our favorite song there, Venom. We are grinding for you guys tonight. Since we are together, we're just pounding out episodes like John and Kate plus 8 or whatever. Just really pumping them out here.
Logic's airtight.
Thank you. And tonight it is sportsball in anticipation for sportsball championships tomorrow in the National Foosball League. So we kind of want to follow up with our last episode of Sports Ball, which was our first episode of Sports Ball, which was not our last episode of Sports Ball. So, nice.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Super clear. Well done.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. And anyway, yeah, we covered kind of some NBA, but most importantly, covered NFL playoffs, kind of our prediction for kind of recapping what happened first round, kind of going over some of our predictions for the second round. And now we're going to be kind of recapping what happened there, telling you what we think is going to happen. Technically today, we're recording this in the early hours of Sunday, so we're 12 hours away from football.
Exactly.
Actually, less than 12 hours at this point, but holy crap. And so, yeah. We're going to be kind of going over. So, Reagan, how you feeling about sports ball? It looks like you kicked my ass according to this piece of paper.
Yep, eat that dirt.
Yep.
Love that money.
Love that money. So, where are we going to find this dirt that I have to eat?
In Gamble's Recreational Center. Yes.
Recreational Center. Yep. The dirt. It's not going to be in the mosh. I normally get my sand from the mosh. In the mosh.
So, what? I said that Dallas would lose. The Saints would beat the Eagles. I said that the Patriots would lose to the Chargers, which they didn't.
Yeah, so let's...
And then the Chiefs would beat the Colts.
I think I got it here. So, yeah, you said Chargers 2017. So, yep, the Patriots won that, and they won it somewhat easily, right? It was like 40-something to 20-something? Or...
It was 35-7 at halftime. And then basically the Patriots just stopped. I mean, that was all the points the Chargers got were in garbage time,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean,
so, yeah,
they just absolutely torched them.
And I said 24-17. I had it as a low-scoring game, but it was 41-28. So both a little off there. You had the Saints 38-17.
Was wrong again.
That game was low scoring at 20-14, and so technically you won that one as well. We both picked the Saints, but your scores were closer to the actual scores. You had 38-17. I had 41-21.
Jeez.
So, yeah, you were closer there. And then, let's see, what else do we have here? I picked the Colts, I guess. Looks like I picked the Colts 31-28. That was not the case. I don't know if I picked that for the Chiefs. I guess that's my pick for them to beat. I don't know.
Do you know what you're doing?
No, I don't know what I'm doing. I shouldn't have a job here. You picked the Rams over the Cowboys, and wait, no, you didn't.
Yep, I did.
I guess, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, it did.
It did happen?
The Cowboys aren't in the NFC Championship game.
I forgot that the Rams and Cowboys played. I don't know why I forgot that. So anyway, yeah, you picked the Rams over the Cowboys, and I don't think we had a score for that game. I think we were just kind of...
Yeah, I think we both were just like,
yeah.
We want the Cowboys to win, but they're not.
Yeah, so you picked the Rams. I went ahead and picked the boys just because I thought they might have a chance. They did, and the score was kind of close to what I predicted. I think it looks like I had predicted a score for that game of 28-24. It was 30-22.
Pretty nice.
So decent there. Looks like you'd picked the Chiefs. I guess you're picking the Chiefs to win this upcoming game here. According to this sheet, you're expecting the Chiefs to beat the Patriots tomorrow.
Yep, and I did have the Chargers going all the way, but, that was ruined.
Yeah, okay.
And so now, I don't know, I
have you here for Saints-Chargers was your predicted Super Bowl.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I did well in my picks last week. You did not.
Thank you.
You gotta eat that dirt?
Yep. Gotta get the dirt.
And, I don't know. I don't want to count the Patriots out because they're freaking dominant, super dynasty. Like, they're gonna all like retire as the best ever, basically. But I don't know. I feel like the Chiefs are too good. They just have too much offense. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. He's already won the NFL Writers MVP, but that's not anything. But that's still, he's probably going to win the MVP, and he deserves it. And he's playing lights out, and he didn't freeze up in the game and last week when he was playing the Colts or whatever.
Yeah, so his first playoff game, the team put up 31 points. So, he showed up. That's good.
And the defense played well for the Chiefs as well, which has always been their Achilles heel this season is like, can the defense stop them enough to win the game?
Okay, yeah.
So, and I want the Chiefs to go because I'm tired of the Patriots.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them in the Super Bowl again. And if the Chiefs play the Saints or the Rams, like, it's going to be a super exciting game because the Rams played the Saints, and that was a really close game, high scoring. And then one of the highest scoring games in NFL history was the the Rams and the Chiefs played earlier on Monday night. It was like 105 points between the two of them.
Yeah, that was a great game.
It was freaking nuts. That game was awesome, and I'd love to get a rematch of that for the championship. I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm going to go Chiefs over the... Should I give you a score?
We can.
Pick it.
Yeah, just pick it. Yeah, scores, pick it. Yep.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think it's going to be a close game because the Patriots are the Patriots, but it's going to be super cold. And, they're the Patriots are used to playing in the cold weather. But, it's going to be a super cold game. I think that crowd is going to be hyped. I think, the offense is going to show out. I think the defense is going to play well enough to get them to the Super Bowl. And then I think in the NFC, I think the Saints are going to beat the Rams, unfortunately, just because, the Cowboys aren't that good. Honestly, they're just not. They're a team that sort of they made the playoffs, and that's great for them.
Yep.
That's kind of the season.
They're kind of lucky to be there.
Yeah, it's like, wow, good job. You're not really having a shot at the championship, but
they made a little splash. They beat a good Seattle team. They challenged a good Rams team.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're having that much trouble with the Cowboys in your home stadium, you're not going to beat the Saints in their home stadium, which they have a great home field, crowd that gets super hyped.
Especially in that dome.
Yeah, because everybody's drunk and celebrating Mardi Gras for all 7 months of Mardi Gras, however long it lasts. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody's hyped down there, and they're gonna freaking be loud as hell, and everybody wants Drew Brees to go out on top, basically. Yeah. And I don't know. And the Saints played well last weekend, too. Their defense actually showed up again, and they usually have a really good offense. And I just feel like the Rams they're missing their second option wide receiver, Cup. He's out, so they don't have him, and it's just, I don't know, it's just too much. It's just too much to overcome, but, they've had a good season, and also it's a second or third year quarterback, I think, Jared Goff, and he's struggled, honestly, this season, just in big games. He's struggled against the Bears, he struggled, he beat the Chiefs, but it's still, he's struggled, and I just don't think they're going to be able to overcome the Saints. And then I still think, I had the Chargers in the Saints in the Super Bowl. I still think the Saints are probably going to win the Super Bowl just because they're really well coached and they've got veteran people who aren't going to, I don't want to say choke, but suffer in the big moments where I feel like even though Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff have played well, they're still just not as experienced, and it's going to come down to that.
Okay, and so your prediction is. Let's just, because the brackets kind of changed. So, you're expecting the Saints beat the Rams. Valid points there. You've pretty much convinced me on that front. And then...
It's going to be a good game, though. All these games are going to be good.
Yeah, definitely.
I would be shocked if they're not. Yeah, they should all be good.
Should be. And then Chiefs-Patriots. So, you expect the Chiefs to win. You expect the Saints to win. So, it's going to come down to Saints-Chiefs Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you have Saints winning that based on mostly quarterback experience. And, okay. I agree with that. I don't think there's a whole lot for me to say in terms of Saints-Rams. You pretty much covered it all. I would say it's really good points. I would agree the Saints are going to win. Their home field is insane. Like you said, Drew Brees has been locked in. Goff been kind of a question mark. And, Saints defense did great against the Miracle Kid, Nick Foles.
Yeah.
So yeah, they TCB'd that. So yeah, I got no problem in the NFC and the AFC. So in my bracket, in the bracket that we've done overall for this playoffs, obviously you overall have won more games in terms of predicting them right, but you have Saints Chargers in the Super Bowls. I have Patriots Saints in the Super Bowl. So
still possible.
So yeah, that is very possible. And because I have that, I am going to stick with the Patriots winning in the AFC. But based on the points you've made, are Gronk and Edelman playing for the Patriots tomorrow?
Yeah.
They are going to be playing.
Yeah.
So I mean, both teams essentially have their full rosters. There's not
no Kareem Hunt, but
of course. But aside from that.
Yeah.
Everybody's pretty much there for the most part, especially in terms of offense. I mean, defense, it's kind of tough to keep track of everybody, at least for me.
Mm.
But in terms of offense, everybody's kind of fully staffed.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it's probably going to be a great game. Then I was going to say maybe based on some of the points you made, I wouldn't put it past the Chiefs really just coming out there and kind of shocking everybody and blowing out the Patriots and kind of just showing them that, hey, like, you guys are great, but like you haven't necessarily
It's so hard to judge because the Chargers have beaten the Chiefs this year, and the Patriots have beaten the Chiefs this year. But the Chargers were so hyped, and everybody was like, yeah, they've got the guts to do it because they beat the Chiefs on their own home field.
Yeah,
and, like they got no problem playing on the road, and like they played really well. Like against, they didn't play great, but they played really well against Baltimore. And the Patriots look old, and they don't care. They don't have any motivation. And they get destroyed by the Patriots. They get absolutely demolished by them.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, well, am I going to go against the Patriots again and get proved wrong again?
Exactly. And, I mean, the Patriots have really been the one, I don't know enough about football, but I would say that the Patriots have really been the only consistent team in the NFL in the fact that they're the number one stroke of consistency because this is their 8th year in this championship game.
Straight.
But, straight.
11 since Tom Brady's played.
Exactly. And aside from them, though, it's really, to me, hard to predict football.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Bears have been bad for so long. The fact that they were that good this year was interesting to me. The Eagles winning the Super Bowl last year, kind of stinking this year, but then also kind of getting almost back to the playoffs again. Drew Brees has been at the Saints for a minute.
Yeah.
But like this year, they're great.
Super good. I don't know. I mean, not.
The LA Rams are good. The Chiefs are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like two teams that were previously not so hot now are like elite teams at 13-3.
And just look at the stuff like the Cowboys. They don't have their roster just isn't they don't have any big names on it, but they made they won their division.
Yep.
Doesn't make any sense. And then the Texans, how many games did they win by 3 points, 7 points, 1 point?
Yep.
They won on a missed field goal. There's so much crazy stuff happens.
NFL is tough to predict. It's kind of like what I was getting at. It's just to me it's tough to predict. Aside from, it is relatively easy to bet on the Patriots.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm going to do. I mean, they looked amazing, or they looked pretty damn good against the Chargers because they're motivated. This is their time of year. They've been here before. I feel like a lot of times, even though the season's super short in comparison to basketball, but it's kind of like something that we say in basketball. Like there's a lot of times you just kind of. Like the Warriors are just kind of cruising. Like everyone's like, I can't believe the Warriors are losing so many games this year. It's like they've been there, done that. They know they're better than everybody. They're just waiting for the best time to show you that.
There's something like
when it counts.
The Patriots, I've started every time they've gone or won the Super Bowl. They always start 0-2, 1-3. They always start off really bad, and it's like they're gonna be bad finally, and then they go all the way to the Super Bowl and they win. And it's
exactly.
Wow.
And maybe that's what they need. They need people telling them they can't do it so that they can prove them wrong. Whatever it is, I'm betting on the Patriots, but Chiefs got a shot.
Mm.
I mean, the way they've been playing, the fact that Mahomes, played so well in his first playoff game, if he continues to play big in the big games, it's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hope that he would choke since he didn't really choke in the first game.
I would say that I really would doubt, I'd give it a 1% chance the Patriots blow out the Chiefs, because I feel like the Chiefs are we ain't losing again to you. We saw you destroy the Chargers last week. We're not, this is our home turf. We're not gonna, we're not gonna be laxed. They're not gonna be, just we got these guys.
Yeah.
I feel like it's either gonna be real close Patriots win or the Chiefs are gonna win by any margin of points.
Yeah.
I just don't see the Patriots blowing them out again. I can't see it.
I can't either, and but again, I have no clue. And I think that's what I enjoy. That's the main thing that I enjoy about football is like going into every season. I normally don't know who some of the best teams are going to be, and I don't normally know who's going to win the Super Bowl. And even though the Patriots have been the one stroke of consistency, they don't win the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
Like, I normally don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl, and it's normally a different team. Like, it's, even though the Patriots have been so dominant, it's still, like, not as bad as the Warriors to me are to the NBA.
Yeah, because, I don't know. Well, let's use that as a segue. Let's talk about the NBA.
NBA.
So we got Boogie Cousins.
Oh, by the way, so I have Patriots beating the Chiefs. And then I'm just riding the high. Super Bowl, I have Patriots beating the Saints.
Wow.
And
Brady retires?
You had Saints over Chargers, so does that mean you said Saints over Chiefs? And then, if I were the Patriots, like you kind of mentioned to me earlier off air today, I would say they all retire. Like, if they want to retire, if there's any thoughts of retirement in their head, go out with a ring.
Like, Edelman's kind of old. Gronk is not super old, but he's so banged up. Like, he's had so many injuries. Like, dude, take the championships, take the potential Hall of Fame, and the money, and just go enjoy life. Like,
now
don't destroy your body anymore.
No point. Yeah, they're rich. Like, he should be rich. Now, let's say all three of those guys retire. What happens to Belichick?
I don't know. I don't know Belichick's age off the top of my head, but Pete Carroll's like in his 70s and still coaching. So like
exactly. So I just didn't know if Belichick is just like I don't know how much the dynasty and the legacy means to him. I don't know if he's kind of the same way where he's like I've had enough.
It's hard to tell what anything means to him, honestly.
Yeah, because he's very reserved, doesn't talk a whole lot. So that's what I was just kind of wondering. Like, would he be done? Would he go off in the sunset, or is he just like? Yeah, I'm gonna keep coaching. Like, I don't know.
They have he's coached a couple of times. Josh McDaniels, like he's always like a name that comes up when a team wants to hire another guy, the Patriots offensive coordinator, and he went back to the Patriots, and I think it was someone like the Jets or someone was one of the teams without a head coach, and when the season ended was like, why didn't you talk to Josh McDaniels or whatever? And Josh McDaniels was just like. Well, I don't want to go anywhere, and that a lot of speculation about that is, well, he doesn't want to go anywhere because he's offensive coordinator, and Belichick's going to retire somewhat soon, and he's going to probably be the next man having that job, and who wouldn't want that job?
Yeah, I guess.
And another thing is the Patriots have 12 draft picks this year,
So everybody could retire, and then
everyone could retire, and they can get super good. Again, just reload.
Yeah,
and
just
it's
draft
just
fresh.
God.
Must be nice.
It must be. All right, so NBA. Where do you want to start? I was going to say Boogie Cousins had his first start. It was, I don't know, it was kind of, I don't want to say anticlimactic, but he scored a little bit. What do you have, 16 points or something?
I'll pull it up, but I think he had a nice little amount of points. He
fouled out. I know that.
Yeah, he had 3 to 5 threes. They were leaving him wide the hell open, and of course they're making Splash Brother jokes. But it's Boogie's been shooting threes. I'm pretty sure he's been shooting threes since he was with the Kings.
Yeah.
So it is kind of annoying, and it's also really annoying that they just left him open. Whoever the heck they were playing. It's just the Clippers. They're just leaving him.
Yeah.
And it's bro, he's been shooting. You got to respect it a little bit. I'm not saying you got to press him and run him off the three-point line. You don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. But at least keep him honest. Keep a hand near him. They were just letting him shoot on the highlights that I saw. And I've got the box score pulled up. They beat the Clippers 112-94. DeMarcus Cousins 14 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, fouled out, 15 minutes of play. So 6 fouls in 15 minutes. To me, the biggest sign of that, because I didn't watch the game, so I don't know if some of that was ticky-tack, stuff that they just called a foul and it's not a foul. But to me, based on that box score, what that tells me is he definitely doesn't have his legs underneath him.
And he's rough around the edges.
Yeah, he was just swiping and not moving his feet, that kind of stuff. He was winded. But again, he tore his Achilles or whatever. It was ruptured Achilles or
I don't remember.
something Achilles, right?
Yeah.
So pretty serious injury. So definitely understandable that he's not going to be the quickest / probably the most confident out there because I mean he's probably worried that any wrong step, he could do it again. So he's probably self-consciously just not moving his feet, instead swiping, using his hands, thus fouling out.
But I mean, I don't know. I hate to say it, but it's a good sign for them just because he's, in his first game back, he fouled out, but he had, 16 points and he was able to, and all this time he's been on the team, he hasn't been a cause of any problem.
Yeah, they were all happy for him. It was all peace and love, it looked like.
Yeah, no one's because he's sort of a figure of controversy and, I don't know, kind of a dick.
Yeah.
It seems like. But I guess since going there, he's had no problems, so the Warriors are looking good. I feel like in the next couple weeks they'll probably work out the kinks with him and he'll be in the starting lineup. And
I think he started, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but I mean, he'll be permanently in the starting lineup and he'll be contributing quite a bit, and they'll be freaking ridiculous again.
I mean, Boogie's really, to me, an underrated player because he can do it all. He's a big man that can stretch the floor, dribble, pass, shoot, and he's a good defender, down low. He'll body people, he'll get blocks and rebounds. He's very versatile. He does it all. So to me, he's pretty underranked in that regard. And I feel like he was a good fit in New Orleans. He wasn't a huge personality problem. He wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
But he was pretty good in New Orleans, and you could tell him and AD were tight because AD wore they wore each other's jersey or whatever for the All-Star game that moment. But he kind of crapped on the fan base. I mean, he said that I showed you that tweet where he's in the interview and they asked him, Boogie, how it felt to be a Warrior or whatever, and he goes, "It's like the fakest love I've ever felt. I don't know how KD and Steph, do it every night or whatever." And it's just geez, man, kind of just crapping on him there. Now, I don't know if any of that was taken out of context, but still, seems kind of sketchy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean that's him though. That's him doing his thing, and he is set to play and start his next game against the Lakers, which sucks for the Lakers because they lost in overtime to the Rockets. Even though they had at least a 20-point lead, and they blew it. And they blew it. Yeah, nice.
Are they playing?
I enjoyed seeing that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, it was so great. I thought we were down and out. I thought we were gonna lose, and we were kind of doing that thing to where we're kind of keeping it close, keeping it within single digits, but never really getting it closer than 4. Not getting it closer than 1 possession, really. Mm-hmm. So I was like, great, here we go. This sucks. And then it kind of kept getting up to 7 or 8, and I'm like, come on. And I go to the bathroom. Harden hits 2 threes, of course, and gets it within 2. And then I was like, oh, now it's a ball game. Yeah. And sure enough, Eric Gordon hits a ridiculous 3.
Looked so awkward too. He was leaning into it and hesitating, but
in the air,
drained it. Yeah,
in the air, coming down, as he's shooting it, not going up with it it's normal. Yeah. Jump shot there makes it overtime, and then we were pretty wet in overtime, so that's
true. What else you got on your notes over there?
That was awesome. So the Warriors scored 51 points in a quarter. Any thoughts on that? 51 points in the first quarter. Most
I hate them. That's all. Our next topic.
Okay, awesome.
I'm just kidding.
Because I think what they say, Steph, Clay, KD all had 25 points plus, for the game or the first half or
and they just
something ridiculous.
And they slaughtered the Nuggets. They basically took the number 1 seed from them in the most embarrassing way possible.
Which to me shows that when they're motivated,
no one's touching them.
No one's touching them. Yep, the Nuggets. Yeah, the Nuggets are never going to be able to touch them.
And it shows to me that I don't want to say it in a mean way. I guess the best way I could put it, they're overachieving, but the Nuggets aren't for real. They're not.
They're not. No, I mean the Nuggets are nice. I like Jamal Murray. I like Jokic, but they're not.
They need one more piece, and they're in the wrong conference, basically.
Yep. Oh, definitely. So yeah, they're not gonna be able to touch the Warriors. And then speaking of getting straight up embarrassed, Jimmy Butler and the 76ers recently played his former team in the Minnesota Timberwolves and destroyed them by 56, I believe. Yeah. It was something outrageous. And then Embiid had the troll tweet of glad we could take our third stringers and get a big win tonight, kind of thing. And it was in reference to when Jimmy Butler apparently went while
It's
on
42.
the Wolves.
It ended up being 42.
42.
I mean, it was a slaughter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And while he was on the Wolves, he took the third stringers and beat the starters. Back when he was with the Wolves at like a practice. So that's what Embiid was referring to, because that story was covered like when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So Embiid with the trolling tweet, which is funny because they had like recently interviewed him asking why he's not as active on social media, why has he stopped trolling, and he's like, I just kind of stopped, or I've kind of grown up, or whatever. Mm. And then now he's right back on it, like with the trolling tweet. So I don't really know what's going on there.
I like it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like it.
Oh, I do too. And I'm speaking of the Wolves. I don't know how much things are affecting them, but I mean they fired Thibodeau.
Yeah.
They fired Tibbs, and now they've replaced him with Flip Saunders' son. Flip Saunders was the former coach of the Wolves who had passed away. So now his son's coaching the team, young guy, like 32. So there's players that are significantly older than him, and he's coaching them.
Dude, honestly, like the only thing I gotta say about that is, I mean, I get that you really want to inflict change and you want to just turn the page and move on, and have a better squad. But what is the point in firing your coach in the middle of the season? You're not gonna be able to pick up anybody like to coach that's good, probably.
Probably not.
And you're not. It's not. I mean, it's not going to be a bait and switch sort of thing. It's not like, oh, we got a different coach now, so now we're going to be able to beat all these other teams. Like the Wolves are in the wrong conference again. Like they're in the hardest they're in the harder conference, and they're not. There's no talent there, and no one wants to play there either, which sucks.
Yeah, it does. And they had a nice thing going, and it's already kind of ruined. It looks like Wiggins is never really going to pan out to what people want him to be. Apparently, Cat's soft. Great player, great talent, but apparently, he's a little too soft for Jimmy, or just in general. And the only thing I will say to that note, though, is, I've never thought Tibbs was a good coach. He's always been, kind of covered as, like, old school and just doesn't really fit today's game. He's, like, really just not very offensive focused, mostly defense, and he overplays his starters. He doesn't have good player rotations and kind of, like, getting people rest at proper times and distributing minutes.
There was some Bulls teams there that should have gone
further.
I'd think the finals, honestly.
When
he had Derrick Rose in his prime. And, they were up like 3-2 on the Heat or whatever. Like, he should have been able to close that out.
Yeah, and I feel like those Bulls teams were blessed and plagued with Derrick Rose because, he is like what James Harden is to the Rockets right now. Like, as of right now, with like their injuries, the fact that it was all Derrick Rose, and if Derrick Rose didn't have it, if you shut down Derrick Rose, that was it.
Over, yeah.
It was over. He just didn't, and Tibbs was fine with it. He's like, yeah, Derrick, you do it all, and we're gonna play good defense on the other side for the other four guys, and be a solid team, but not good enough. So yeah, I've never thought Tibbs was a good coach. So maybe Saunders' son, I think his name's Ryan, actually. So Ryan Saunders. Hopefully he'll, I guess, be a better coach, better fit for them. Because they still have some talent.
Yeah.
Because Covington and Saric from the Sixers are nice. They're nice little players. And if Wiggins and Towns could sack up, that's four solid guys. And I think technically if you wanted to, all four of them could be at the same on the court at the same time.
Yeah.
And that would make them lengthy as shit. And they just need a little point guard, kind of run the show. And that'd be a nice starting five right there. Or spread them out. So now you have a nice little bench. Like, either way, like, they have a nice team.
Yeah.
It's not like they're shitty.
That's the thing that, like, I like sports ball. I like basketball and football. I don't know which one I like more. It kind of just depends on my mood.
And the team's playing.
That is also a factor. I'd rather watch either than college anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And but like the thing about basketball that really sucks is, like, you were just saying how any year, like, it could be any team's year, like
in the NFL.
For all we know, next year the Browns could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that would be, right now that would be kind of nuts, but like by the time we get to the Super Bowl, we'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, they had a great year. Baker Mayfield came together. They got a couple other draft picks they needed, or they made this move or that move, and boom.
Exactly. But then it's just like, the Timberwolves have like never been anything. You know,
No.
Like, you look at these teams. The Nets have never been anything. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, I guess the Jersey Nets have been something, but
they've gone to the finals at least. But yeah,
the Pacers
Brooklyn
haven't been anything in forever. You know?
Yeah.
Like all these. I mean, even though they're getting good now, but just all these teams are never anything really. Honestly, like. I mean, before
before the Warriors are what they are now, they were never anything.
No, but I mean, for every Warriors, you have a Denver that never really did anything. Like you have
The Cavs were never anything.
The Cavs were never anything. But again, what were the Cavs? The Cavs were a team to be reckoned with for 2 years out of their entire existence. You know, because. They got swept by they wasn't even close the year they went to the Spurs. Like it wasn't even a competition.
Yeah.
And LeBron never made it to the finals again, and then he went to the Heat and all that. And then he went back to
Cleveland
again, and then like they ran into the Warriors. So they beat them once, and they made it competitive another year. But I mean, again, because the Warriors got so good, but that is literally just. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying it's so unlikely. You know? Like next year, the Timberwolves will not be in the Western Conference Finals. I will bet any amount of money on it, and so will a lot of people, just because there's not.
Just because
there's no way. There's
no way. Yeah. The teams that are most likely to be there are the teams that we already know. The teams that are already either established or have good markets to get established quickly.
And part of it is just careers last longer in the NBA, and your body deteriorates less and. It's more skill-based as opposed to strength and, like, conditioning and stuff like that. Like, you need to be able to run really fast and for a long time and lift a shit ton of weight. And in the NBA, like, you have some decent cardio and you just work on your shot,
Pretty much. Yeah.
To stay relative to how good you are. You have to be a badass as well.
And, yeah, football has way more X factors. I mean, football, one guy can only do so much, but in basketball, one guy can do a lot.
Yeah, like Harden is literally
doing it all, and then like LeBron with the Cavs pre the Heat, like before he went to the Heat, the Cavs were nothing. Like you said, they're an awful team, but they're always one of the best teams in the East and went pretty deep in the playoffs pretty much every year. Like at least got out of the first round with one guy doing it all. So. Sports ball is crazy, and the Rockets play again on Monday.
Any further thoughts on MVP or anything like that?
MVP for what, NBA?
Yeah.
To me, it's still Harden. I don't know how Harden isn't.
Yeah, okay.
And now, again, still plenty of season. Something can change, but if you told me who's the MVP right now, it's James Harden. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Because, I mean, really, whether his teammates are there or not, the team's on his back, and he's putting up the numbers, and he pretty much always puts up the numbers.
Yeah, true.
Whether Chris Paul's there or not.
Almost had 50 tonight.
Yep, exactly. Even when we have a full squad, I mean, Capella could be there and get 20 and 20, and Chris Paul could be there and get 20 and 10. Hart could still go for 30 or 40. Like, he's still putting up the numbers. It's still his team. So to me, there's no way he's not the MVP. And man damn near plays all the time. Like, I get scared if he's like missing games. And it's rare that it happens, but I get scared when he falls. I hate it when he misses games because we're shit without him. So what do you think?
I honestly think there's a chance that they kind of hoe him out of it because
I don't think they'll give it to him.
I don't know. I just I might be completely wrong about it, but I just feel like the NFL usually gives the MVP to the best player. I feel like, whereas the NBA has all these different things it does, which just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't get how Steph Curry can win it because he's on the best team and the team is winning all these freaking games, But then Westbrook can win it and he's literally just carrying his team because his team isn't that good outside of him. Mm-hmm. And then, even with James Harden, it's like he can win it because he's the best player on the best team like last year. And then this year he's not on a great team. Like, the team is playing pretty bad, actually. They're playing terrible, but he's willing them into contention in every game. But he might not win it just because I just feel like it's such a such a crapshoot because it's. I mean, it is all opinionated, honestly. I mean, it all comes down to opinion, and I feel like some of these guys are. Some of these Associated Press guys, like I don't want to say they're jaded or something, but they're just. I don't know. I don't get where their opinions come from.
Well, and I agree with you there. And my point to that is like, in the NFL, really the MVP is
best quarterback.
Basically best quarterback, but at least it's decided upon on stats.
Yeah.
And then in the NBA, like kind of like you said with the Associated Press, it's decided by the media. Like the media creates the narrative, creates the message, and so they present you with who they think the MVP is, and then like people just run with that.
Yeah.
Like that's how everybody feels. Basically, is how like I guess the reporters feel, and where they get their opinions or their agenda. I don't know, because the MVP is always it's always like who's gonna win it because the media almost like tells you that.
Yeah, and they always hype it that way anyway. Like ESPN only shows like, have you ever seen a Giannis commercial before this year?
Exactly.
No. And now you see a billion of them. They have like graphics made up for it, and every game he's in, it's hyped up.
Yeah, and he's on the cover of 2K.
Yeah.
And then I know that like on the jump they talked about how like the MVP is just a stupid award. Like everything about it's dumb. They want to mix up the awards in the NBA, do like best offensive player, best defensive player. Maybe even separated by conference, kind of like the MLB does. And then maybe even do like, best player in the regular season, best player in the playoffs, or make the playoffs a factor in terms of deciding the best player in the league.
If you wait that long, it should be a factor because it's dumb that they wait that long.
Yeah, now that they've moved the MVP to being awarded, instead of the MVP being awarded in the first round of the playoffs, it's being awarded after the season's over. So
who cares? Like, who cares at that point?
Exactly, nobody. So yeah, if you're gonna do it like that, make it. Just they want to mix up the awards, and a couple of the ideas they had for mixing up the awards definitely is a lot better than what they have now. Because I don't like the way they do MVP now. So yeah, I would like it separated. And plus, you just get more awards. Again, best offensive player, best defensive player, best player in this conference and that conference. And then like more playoff awards. Or make the playoffs a factor for the regular season awards.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a few different things they could do. Hopefully they do them. If not, it's kind of stupid. The All-Star Draft will be televised this year.
Oh, really?
Don't know if I'm going to watch it or not. I've never really cared for a draft anyway. But like diehard fans, like it's good for them. Like it's stupid that they didn't draft it the first year that they did it. To me, that was really dumb. And, of course, now they're doing it this year because everyone told them how dumb it was that they didn't do that.
Exactly.
So, especially because there was so much tension and drama last year with, like, the Kyrie and LeBron and Steph and KD and just all that kind of stuff. Like, who's going to draft who?
Oh, yeah, you said that thing where the Kyrie where, like...
he apologized to LeBron?
Yeah, and I'm like, what's the deal with that,
How did that come up?
I don't either. I don't
know. Like, it just came up out of nowhere.
Random interview, I guess people have been prying him about that forever, and he's just always been like, no comment, and he was just like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's like, I had to call up LeBron, tell him that, hey, I'm sorry for being that kid, I guess, for I don't know if he was apologizing for breaking up, for leaving the team or leaving the way he did, but he's like, I was just a young kid that wanted it all, and I got it all and realized how hard it was or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
And now there's rumors that he's coming to L.A. next year.
Yeah, they're like, well, that's the thing. I feel
That'd be so dumb.
because of the apology, I feel like they create that rumor.
Yeah.
Because that would just make him look bad. Like, he's already kind of looking bad doing this apology
It looks
thing.
bad that he's apologizing, which is weird.
Yeah, so that makes him look bad, and then he'd look really bad by reuniting.
Yeah.
To me. But then at the same time, he would look bad for like a day. And then the next day, everyone would be like, the Lakers, Kyrie and LeBron, it's all a fairy tale.
That's the thing. Like, ever since LeBron went to the Heat and then Durant went to the Warriors, I think players are just like, man, who gives a shit? Like, I'll just do what I want.
Yeah.
And I'll take the freaking blowback for, whatever. For Durant, I feel like it was a year or so. He might still be getting it. But
it's a blessing and a curse for the league.
Guys are just like, I don't care. I'll do whatever the hell I want. I'll go wherever I want. I'll take whatever deal I want. I'll play with whoever I want.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to, like, crap talk me for some short amount of time, and then years from now, people will be talking about, like, oh, man, they were so good when they won the championship.
Yeah.
And, like, they'll never even think about all this blowback.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it's a blessing and a curse for the NBA because the players have so much more freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So more things change, which can potentially making it exciting for year to year.
Yeah.
Like when the Timberwolves got good, you're like, dang, Timberwolves got an awesome big three now. And then that fell apart, and all of a sudden Jimmy's in the Sixers.
Yeah.
You're like, dang, the Sixers are crazy now. And then, kind of like the formation of the Warriors and the Rockets, like stuff like that. That doesn't happen in the NFL. Like, could you imagine if like Brady and Roethlisberger and Rivers and all these dudes, like all these great quarterbacks, are just like, man, I want to throw it. Yeah. I want to throw to Antonio Brown this year. Like, I want to throw to Julio Jones. Like, I just want to move around. Like, if the NFL,
the contracts are way more strict too, so you can't just like
exactly
pick up. This team wants to pick up this one, and we can go over the budget.
Yeah, the NBA is like so free and willy nilly. So it makes it exciting. Because, like, the trade deadline, free agency, like, these things are exciting in the NBA. Like, you're like, what's going to happen? Like, what's going to change? But it's also a curse because there's so much mobility and freedom, we have teams like the Heat and the Warriors that come into formation.
That are just nuts,
Yeah. So
you go from being good to being ridiculous.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a blessing and a curse because... in the NFL, like, I don't know if I've ever really given a shit about the trade deadline or free agency.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot happens, again, because the NFL is so much more strict. The contracts are very strict, and the NBA is so much more free, for the players. Like, it's definitely like a player's first league.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's got its benefits, and I like them for the most part. But, yeah, I'm always scared that at any given moment, the Lakers are just one or two moves away from becoming more powerful than the Warriors, and then still just gonna it's gonna be a two team league. The Warriors and
in the same
LeBron.
conference.
Yeah, in the same conference now. Yeah, thus ruining the finals because whoever wins the West wins. Yeah. So kind of ruins the finals.
That's unfortunate. All right, let's wrap this episode up.
Yeah, you got any final thoughts on the sports ball? We got some. Again, just kind of recapping here. We've got the. Chiefs winning over the Patriots by me. Patriots winning over the Chiefs. And then the other game was the Saints-Rams. We both had the Saints. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that goes. And we will do a follow-up episode on how the remainder of sports ball went for this weekend, maybe previewing a little Super Bowl action. And this is, some of the sports ball I might get to the point where we probably just throw it in another episode at some point. So, be on the lookout. We'll let you guys know. We know you guys, you're wondering what's going on. So, Reagan, any final thoughts? You want to take us home?
Just hit us up on iTunes. We're on there. Subscribe to our podcast. Throw us a like. Thanks for watching this video. Check us out on Twitter. We're trying to get more involved in the audience, trying to see if we can maybe reach out for fan topics, fan discussions. If there's any way we can incorporate you more, we're going to try to get that done.
That'd be hot.
I think that's probably it. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.